the use of force continuum work, and is it fair? Good question. But before we answer that question, just like before, we first have to define what is police use of force, and why do we allow police to even use force? These are good questions, but good luck. I can tell you criminologists for decades have argued this, and we don't have a collective answer to that question. So let me try and answer it the best I can, being an ex-cop and as an academic. Let's first look at how cops are currently trained. Well, in this country, we train them that when they go on a call, there are people out there that are just not going to listen to them. They're not going to listen for whatever reason. We train them that they're going to use force to get people to do what they are told to do. They're going to compel that compliance. So when we look at this question, it has to be a bigger and deeper thought process. We know that people hurt people. We can all agree upon that. When law enforcement approach them and they refuse to give up, we have to react in one of two ways. And you decide as the public. You tell us what you want us to do. The first way would be we would walk away. They're not complying. They're not doing what we're telling them to do. We walk away. We go to a judge. We get a warrant. We go after them some other way. No force was used in that first way to approach this. The second way, which is what we've been training for, which is we stand our ground. We force compliance. The use of force continuum in doing that answers that question. Yes. Is it fair? Second question. I'm going to answer it in a couple of ways. Do you want me to stop someone from committing a crime now? And if the answer is yes, what specific crimes do you want me to stop them from? Just violent crimes, property crimes? You decide. But if your answer to that is yes, at that point, do we keep stepping up that level of violence to get compliance? Because in the end, that's going to make the victim happy, because we're trying to make the victim happy, trying to make them whole again, and we're stepping up the violence. So is it fair to the victim? Using the force continuum? Probably. If you want to change the strategy and the training of police today to where we focus on the offender, it's not fair to the offender. It was never intended to be fair to the offender. That's a whole change of thought. So when we start to have a non-compliant person, if you don't want us to be fair to the victim and more fair to the offender, then yes, the use of force continuum would not be fair to the offender. So it depends on how you look at the question and who we are talking about. Who are we going to be fair for? The continuum and the force continuum works for outcome number one, to help a victim to apprehend an offender. It doesn't work for the offender. That choice and how we train, again, is up to the public. So again, start focusing more on what do you want your police force to be trained to do, rather than look at this as a very simple question. It's not. People are not going to do what they're told, and we have to decide how are we going to deal with that.